You are tuned into the A side on THAafterparty.com.
All right, you guys. We are live on Bosses Brunch Radio. I am live with my girls, Ivy. Can I get you to pull your headset, your thing down, please?
Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. I was on break. You know, customer service breaks when you
I
flick
was
that
just
mic up.
finna say,
My bad,
yeah.
my bad.
Okay,
That
okay.
customer service break, my bad.
Got just Ivy with us. My girl, Danielle, the Dun Diva.
Hey, yeah, I'm so happy to be back.
We have special guest, Soneakqua White.
Hello.
All right. And of course, me, your girl Montana Mitchum, the Madam of Media. So happy to be here. We didn't like been on a little break.
Girl,
Just a
yes.
little hiatus.
Just a
Just a
little
little
bit.
bit.
Just a little
Just a
bit.
little bit.
We had a lot of things going on, and I do want to catch everybody on up on what's going on. Y'all know what was going on with me.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Okay, we was building and expanding in Los
Right.
Angeles for
Oh,
the After
wow.
Party West.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm really excited
Nice.
about that.
Praise him.
So we are in Inglewood where it's good. So we are broadcasting. We have three shows that are broadcasting with us in California.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really, really excited about that.
Right.
And that's all I've been doing. And y'all already know that the Party Awards is coming up December
Exactly.
the 9th. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be at the Angelica Film Theater here in Dallas, Texas. You want
Mm-hmm.
to get your tickets. Listen, our theme this year, because we are going to be supporting Black Pride, baby. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so
Right.
so you got to come
Right
out.
on.
You
Okay.
got to either wear all black
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
or African print, because we're going back to Wakanda.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We
Okay,
going back to
we
Wakanda.
going back to Wakanda, baby.
Beam me up.
Yes, so
Got
that's what's
it.
been going on with me. What's been going on with you guys?
Oh my gosh. For me, I'm just excited to, finally get my, community of support for women in business up and going. The Game Changers with an H, Game Change Her.
Okay.
So yeah, and we've been having business mixers the past couple of months, and so our one for this month will be tomorrow, actually, from 7 to 10, out at the Mockingbird Station at the People's Last Stand, which is right
Okay.
next door to the Angelica Movie Theater,
Okay.
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 where your event will be. So yeah, I actually had a premiere there years ago when I was acting. That place is beautiful. That's going to be a nice look for you, Montana.
It
Cool.
is very
Yeah, I
beautiful.
like Angelica. But anyway, so yeah, so just happy to just be growing and working the group and having the mixers, and we've got a couple of events coming up. One is the Change Her Fitness, Finance, and Faith,
Ooh, that
and
sounds
then we
good.
have the Change Her Expo coming up. So I'll be keeping you guys posted on that, and just getting clients, still doing logos, still
Okay.
doing
Okay.
Still
still
doing
doing
you.
what I do. You know
Doing
what I'm
what you
saying?
do.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Hit it, Ivy.
Well, we've been traveling a lot. Yeah, we went to LA for the first time to support the After Party West. It was awesome
Already.
to see
I
that
barely saw
vision.
Ivy. I just want to put that on the record.
But
I
she
Wait a
barely
did
minute.
saw
see
her.
me
Okay,
though.
where's the shade
I
bell? I
But
need
she did
that.
see me though. It may have been all but 15 minutes, but I came. I flew to
So she
LA
used
and
your event as
came
a way for a
though.
Yeah,
vacation.
she
Uh-huh.
Just say
used
you
me to
wanted a
come to
vacation,
LA.
Ivy.
Ain't that
I came
something?
there for Montana, and
What had happened
What
what had
happened
happened
was.
was
was.
That's
I
right.
did get a new author out of LA. Shout out to Dr. Letitia Wright. Yeah,
Okay.
she
Ah,
came up under BLI. So we've been signing
praise
a new
her.
author every month, and when we released two new books this past month or
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
this
Yeah.
month or something like that. I need
Wonderful.
to get on top of that. So by Shamitria Lewis and by Ty Ford. He just re-released his book.
Okay.
So with us.
Okay.
So that's what's up. And other than that, just traveling, y'all. I mean, I did a book conference that was surrounded about me in
Mm-hmm.
Ohio. This is my second one doing that. They created this event for me to come out to Ohio and talk to the future author, aspiring authors there. So I did get authors from Ohio, from
Okay.
LA,
Okay.
and
Okay.
where else did I go? Detroit. I got a couple of authors out of Detroit when I went up there to help with an event there, purse auction there. So it's been fun. It's been a whirlwind, and unfortunately, y'all, my health took like a real nosedive. Where I ended up in the emergency room a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
so I've been trying to claw back out of there.
Push through.
Push
Mhm.
through, y'all. And so this is right on time, work life balance. And I got into a truck wreck. So
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
yeah, so your girl had gone through this last month or so. So and then I'm feeling not the best today. So, but other than that, I'm right to deal.
I'm just
Very
saying, y'all.
sorry here on the
I
edge.
just got over some funky stuff.
Right, because
Well,
that
keep your
rain.
funky stuff.
I
Thank y'all
said
for
got
telling me,
over.
because I have some
I don't want.
Lysol in the bag.
Don't you
Yeah.
spray me with
Glad
Lysol.
that y'all let me know.
Don't be
Don't
trying to spray us
Right.
like
So
that.
listen,
like
I'm not even,
roaches.
first of all, I'm not even going to wait for you to leave.
Okay, whatever. You know what,
That's gonna
Montana?
happen.
You know you should just spray everything. If I touch it,
Yes.
No,
spray
real
it. You
talk.
know what I'm
Uh-oh.
saying?
I don't want
Oh,
to do
Lord.
it.
Should've started
I do
touching
not.
stuff on
Right.
She gonna do. You know what?
I do have
Yeah,
masks.
that's me.
Oh,
That's
watch
exactly
it.
what I would do.
I am
I'ma
so
put it in the
glad
That's what happens.
Miss Soneakqua White is here with us.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for
And
inviting me.
if you could, please let our listeners, because I know they like, who is she? What is
She
she?
and
And
what
how
she
she
is.
fit in with this motley
Right.
crew.
I don't want to get anything wrong. Please let our listeners know who you are and what you do.
Like Montana said, my name is Soneakqua White. I am a psychotherapist. That's a big word for just a
Yeah.
counselor.
For
I work
crazy
with mental health illnesses, mental illness, working towards mental health. I do own a company. I own my private practice at the table counseling, so you can follow me anywhere at
okay.
the table
Yes.
counseling.
Okay.
I'm glad y'all were talking earlier because most of my clients are artists. They are singers, writers, painters,
Wow.
stylists.
The
That's not-
creatives,
The
basically.
creatives,
Yes,
because
yeah,
our
Uh-huh.
minds.
Creatives, man. We
Yeah.
We
got some
just built
issues.
differently, yeah,
Yes.
and we suffer silently
Oh.
because we're so creative,
yes.
and we have to. It's a borderline
It's like a
between
tortured
you have to
creativity.
yes, it's like a blessing and a curse.
Yes,
When you can be
absolutely.
so creative because
Yeah.
you have to still think within reality.
Yes. And dealing with a lot of rejection from family, from friends, because artists are, creative, a little different. Not
Right.
weird, just different.
Just different. I
You're
like
right.
yeah.
I do too. I know.
Thank you.
Thank you for
saying
clearing
Right.
that up.
For making them feel like
Yeah.
normal. You know, because, I'm normal. So
Okay.
making them feel
I
normal.
will accept that.
Absolutely. So, how long have you had your counseling center?
I've had my private practice for 9 years now. I started it in May of 2009.
Okay.
So still going strong.
Praise
Okay,
him.
that
Yes.
is
nice.
Now,
Uh-huh.
we have to ask because here on Bosses Brunch, we definitely talk about coming from, working corporate to being on your own, as well as the struggle that comes along with that.
Right.
So, what was it? What was that defining moment that you said, you know what? I'm not going to work for anybody else's practice. I'm not going to do this for them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this for myself. What
Okay.
was that moment? Honestly, tell
Okay.
us.
I always wanted it, but couldn't figure out how to make the leap from corporate to being in private practice, from going from for sure money to I don't know money.
Right.
And so
Oof,
the
Lord.
thing for me, it was really a God thing. Things were coming at me, and I was trying to hold on to everything. I was trying to do this, do that, do this, and God said, "Hello." And I was like, "Oh, you meant for me to let that go." And that was really the moment that I was like, "Oh, wow. He's really doing it for me." And there were a couple of times where I tried to go back to work
Uh-huh.
because it's scary
Yeah.
being on your own, being by
Yes.
yourself, the only one in my family at least who owns a business.
Wow. Okay.
So it gets lonely. It gets
Yeah.
different. People
Yeah.
So
don't
why
understand.
counseling?
When I look back, I've always been that person who could listen and keep a secret.
Okay.
And so people would just tell me things, and people would come around and say, "Did you know?" Uh-huh. Well, why you didn't say nothing? I don't know. It was
Right.
just kind of in me even as a kid, and so I saw my family and other people's family and how things that they would not talk about, how it affected them. They didn't think it was. They thought they got over it,
Right.
but they didn't. So I wanted to be there to help those people, to let them know that you have a place where you can come. Nobody's going to know your secret. In the room of my office, it's a safe haven.
Right.
And so that's what I provide.
Okay.
Nice.
What has been your biggest struggle since starting your own counseling center?
Wow. Just sometimes the unsurety of things. If I'm not working, I'm not making any money. So you can't force a client to come.
Right.
So sometimes the faith walk is real.
Uh-huh.
You like, okay,
All
God,
the
She
way.
ain't
I didn't see
lying, okay?
All the way
nobody
live.
today. So what we gonna do?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's the tough part is just sometimes not knowing, but in those, all it takes is one client to get that light bulb, and the
Mhm.
rest of the day is made.
Absolutely. I have to share this. This isn't my story to tell, but I'm gonna share it anyway. This is Danielle's. You know, we look how she.
This
Ooh, did
girl
y'all
right
see?
here.
Ooh, I'm glad the camera is
This
right
girl
here
right
and
You
here.
on
caught it.
camera.
And caught it. But Danielle, I remember this last year. Danielle came to
Oh.
me and Ivy. She was like, "Look, I'm just gonna go and give me a job because I can't. This ain't. I can't deal with this." Danielle came to my house, y'all, in her little black interview suit, looking
She was
all
serious.
cute, looking serious. She was ready for that job. I said, "Girl, I don't know why you went over there
To them people.
Wasted them people's time.
I don't know why you did that. If it wasn't, I don't even know if it was days later. A client came through, and that was like you said, it was that thing that sparked it again. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know what? I don't
Yes.
know what I was thinking.
What I was thinking.
My
yeah.
bad, God. I'm so
Right,
sorry that
right.
I
Girl,
was
I was tripping. Thank you, Montana, for talking me off the ledge.
Yes,
Girl,
okay.
they actually called me back for a second interview that day, and I
Wow.
drove all the way to Montana's house. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Just even being in the first interview.
Yeah.
Just even, and I knew the job was mine because I knew I was well qualified
And
for
she
it.
was looking good in her
And
black
all of that,
interview
you know, I was
suit.
looking right for the job, and it wasn't going to be so bad because I was going to be doing the same thing, a brand
Okay.
specialist,
Okay.
just for a company,
somebody
just for
else.
somebody else, so I can get that, that consistent money. But girl, that's just
Mm-mm.
not me. I had to, girl, Jesus,
Yes,
you know.
yes. We
I
had
was
to talk
going
her off the ledge.
Yeah, we had a talking out the ledge, a coming to Jesus meeting. Then I was all right, girl. I didn't even go back to that second interview.
Okay.
And she ain't lying. Like a couple of days later, after we prayed and a client came, and I'm like, okay, this is meant for me.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we have all seen that struggle.
Yes.
So today we brought on Soneakqua White to talk about work-life balance because, as you described just a second ago, that as creatives, entrepreneurs, small business owners, man, we live in our head
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
I know I do.
Yes.
I can't get out. I'm
Can't
like,
get out.
turn the noise off,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we are happy to have you here to
Thank
to
you.
get this discussion going. I want to get started in talking about, you know, when your business is in the blue. Things, things aren't going your way in your business, and like you said, rejection can be hard. Hearing
Right.
no's. I can recall when I first started the after party, and I was going out. My husband is a mail carrier in Bishop Arts,
Okay.
so he was like, "You should come out here, talk to these business owners, get your information out to them." And I remember going to, door to door, just asking if I could leave my business cards. Somebody told me no, y'all.
Wow.
And I was done.
Oh, wow.
I was done. I said, I'm not
Yes,
going.
did you
Fuck her. I may have gotten like too sure you can put it there, but it was almost like I felt like they really did. The
Yeah.
ones who said
Right,
yeah didn't really
yeah.
want it there,
Uh-huh.
and the one who said no, they was just being honest.
Just,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
being
Right.
honest.
And so-
she thought everybody was gonna be gung ho about the
You
about
know,
the after party.
Yes,
Right,
because
right.
when
Yeah.
I'm giving them the pitch of who we are, and I'm like, I'm the cool kid. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you're gonna love me, and they're like,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Wow.
I went to my car, my eyes got watery. I said, F this, I'm
Right.
not going back out here, and it scared me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took me venting to someone about my experience, like, girl, like, you're not finna let that, like, I had to, in
Yeah.
that situation, be
Yeah.
talked off the ledge,
Right.
but
Yeah.
rejection is hard.
But it hurts.
It is.
It hurts
Yeah.
because that's your passion. You were passionate about it. You gave them everything you had, and they said no.
No.
Yes.
That
People
hurts.
don't
Really did.
understand your business is your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you birth by choice.
Yeah.
Like you came up with this whole conception. You probably came up with your logo, your colors, like you dress the baby because I teach your brand is its own personality on its own.
Okay.
So you've got to know how to grow that brand, grow that, and nurture that personality. But needless to say, you have to dress your brand, you've got to raise your brand, grow your brand, all of that, from your visuals to the way you put your brand out there. So it is like growing and nurturing a baby from ground up. And so yeah, when somebody rejecting your business, it's like, well, you don't want him. She ain't good enough for you.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm
Right.
talking about? Baby, get on out there and sing for him and show him what you can do. Right. You know how we, girl, messing with the children.
So, what would your suggestion be like to if you're dealing with rejection in your business or even in your personal, like how to get back up? Like I said, for me, it just took me remembering the times when things weren't good, when that I was new, the new kid on the block, and people were supporting and being a part of, and it just was a reminder. Okay, it's okay if they didn't see it. Don't worry about the ones who won't. Worry about the ones who will.
Right.
But for someone who has a hard time telling themselves that, what do you suggest?
Well, you have to know what your zone is, what your mechanism is for coping, because you always have to have those things in place and not just run to it when there's a problem. So for me, it's water. I can get in the shower and be good, but swimming, doing whatever is in your zone, because sometimes you have to go back into your quiet place
Yeah.
and recharge.
I like that.
Yeah.
You got to find a coping mechanism, right? So for me, what's your coping mechanism, Montana? She said water. Now that's vast. Water is just wow. Never heard somebody say water is their
But I
coping
can
mechanism.
see
I
that.
used to be
Yeah.
that way.
I could see water
Yeah.
as a. I can't even swim, but I feel at peace when I'm at water. When I'm
By water, really.
I feel like a
So the
hot
beach
bag
is
I'm a
perfect
water
perfect
take
for
away
you.
sign. I'm
all
an
the
Aquarius, so.
yeah.
But that's something for me to think about. What is my coping mechanism?
Danielle, what's yours?
I could probably think of
Danielle,
what?
no, we're talking about self medication.
Positive
No,
ones.
no self medication.
That's legal and all. That's not legal.
What?
No
Okay.
self medication.
All right.
No
All right.
You don't self medication because that's the wrong thing to
Girl,
do.
support is the new black. Don't be
Okay.
judging.
It's coming to Texas soon, though,
Reading, you guys.
Reading.
Reading and writing.
Mhm.
Again, I guess that goes back to that creative thing.
Absolutely.
I've always loved to read. And I used to want to start a book club, but then I got away from that because I was not surrounded by other people who were readers.
Who wanted to
Right.
They couldn't read, shoot, a newspaper article without dozing off. So it's just have to be one of those things. But it's like movie watching. I would get lost in the characters. It would just like free my mind and take my mind away.
Then I would
so
say
I would
music
love to read.
for
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
Yeah, you do kind of come alive.
When music,
Right.
I ain't lying.
Don't
Yeah.
ever challenge her. You'll lose.
Ever. You will
Ever. Because she
lose a
owns
lip
the
syncing.
music station. So
I can see
it's
that,
always
Montana.
a disadvantage.
She does
Yeah.
become the artist.
She really does.
Yes.
She really
In her own
does.
way.
Yes.
Yes, I can see
My,
that.
my coping mechanism is movies.
Okay.
Movies.
I
Okay.
I have to go to a movie when I'm feeling bummed out. I go to the movies and watch a cartoon or something really silly and stupid. Even if I hate the movie, I'm just gonna sit through it and kind of
Right.
just get lost in my thoughts. Or I'm going to jump in my car and I'm gonna drive until my gas tank tell me, "Helfer, stop playing with me." You know,
You don't went too
So,
far.
Yeah, went too far. So I'll go to Canton or drive to Oklahoma or drive down to Waco or I'll just go until I'll get out and I'll walk around and stare at people and then I'm content,
Okay.
looking at some of the people and I get back in my car and I go home. So for me it's either driving away, leaving whatever's bothering me or going to the movies and escaping, like you guys said, into that character and into that movie scene. Yeah.
Right.
And think
like
about
that.
what you guys just said. Everything that we've talked about, it doesn't cost a lot of money, and that thing is important. That if you're trying to figure out your best coping mechanism, is the one that you can do almost at the drop of a hat.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something I can get to
I
right
like the
then.
the movie idea because it does allow me to escape into another, somebody else's story.
Yes.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody else's drama.
Basically.
That's why I like reality shows because
This
I
is
get,
true.
yeah, because it's like it's not about me. You're the one that's,
Crazy
crazy
and
all
all
over
that.
That ratchet TV.
And you can't function without a camera being around you now.
right?
Yes, yes,
Baby,
yes.
that wretchedness.
It is so hard, just pushing through when you're depressed and
Oh,
you have a business.
oh my
And like
God.
you said, when you're
Right.
not working, you not eating.
Mhm.
And
Right.
it is so, I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize to, all my friends, because I was not born
Mm,
with
mm,
sympathy.
mm.
She was not.
I
She was
Chose
not.
wasn't.
not.
I
She was
Chose
wasn't.
not.
not.
So,
Po Danielle went through her year of transition,
Uh-oh,
baby,
poor
and Montana
Danielle.
gave her
oh,
hell.
no, she did not.
She didn't.
Thank
She
you.
didn't. She was
Thank
just
No,
being
listen, listen.
herself.
Right.
Oh,
Who
You
okay.
just
did
got to know
not?
how to get right back with her, though. Don't
Oh,
let her get to you,
I
okay.
because
was,
that's just
I
the way
was,
she.
I was there for Danielle. I
We
was.
know, but if you would have seen it
But
from
She
afar,
was in her. That's
that
Montana's
is
way.
Montana, but she said wasn't born with sympathy.
I
Right.
say that because, life happens to everybody,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, when life happens to me, I don't know why, I wish my life could stop like everybody else's when they're going through, but it cannot.
Mhm.
It cannot. I can't go hide up under a rug. And, sometimes I try to, sympathize. Oh, you're going, I
It's hard.
try.
It's
It's
hard.
hard. It's
Right.
hard.
Mhm.
But because I feel that it's important to push through even in spite of.
Mhm. It
Mhm.
is.
It
Is
It
it?
is.
is.
It's still important
Yep.
because depression will try to, it's a backward and downward pull. So if you let it, it'll pull you backward and downward to the point where you laying in the bed, you can't get up, you don't want to shower, you don't want to do anything. So
Mm.
you do have to push and fight against it, and it becomes a physical fight. It's a
Yes.
Mhm.
mental issue,
Right.
but it becomes physical. It can manifest that way. So you do have to push through.
Right.
You
You
really
sure
do.
do.
That's
Danielle, you were
You
a great
can't.
example of that.
Mhm.
Like Ivy said, you were transitioning and
Mhm.
we had all kind of uh names for what Danielle
Oh,
was
we
going
did, didn't
through.
we?
Because
Metamorphosis.
yeah,
yes.
I said,
metamorphosizing.
I don't like that word. Let's change that. Yeah, we had all
Because
kinds.
Metamorphosize.
she was going through
A
a
divorce,
divorce.
right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then still having to put on this face with her
Mhm.
clients, with her peers,
Right.
you know,
Known to
in the
be the
midst of.
encourager, so it's just
Mhm.
like having to still be able to be encouraging
Mhm.
and not be able to vent how I feel
Mhm.
because you're not known for that. So you
Right.
can't. It's like the encourager needs encouragement. So I had to
Mhm.
come to people
Mhm. Mhm.
behind the scenes
Mhm.
because I had to be careful about what I put out there. Because,
Mhm.
it's just
Mhm.
people can take it like you're being bitter, but you're just
Mhm.
telling your truth.
Right.
And so, because I wasn't known for that, I just didn't say anything at
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
Right.
And because of what I do, all that I do causes me I have to think.
Mhm.
What I do is not systematic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's business is different.
Mhm.
So my business, I consult and I do creative design.
Mhm.
So it caused me to have to think. And I couldn't think about that at the time where I'm trying to think about what my next move is going to be because my
Right.
whole life just changed upside down from, you know, I've always been a full time entrepreneur. Well, not always, but for a minute.
Mhm.
But my ex husband paid all the bills.
Okay.
So it's like I'm finna have this house. I'm finna have this new truck I had to get. Like everything, my
Now
kids
it's
going
on
to
you.
college, everything.
Wow.
It's all on me.
Mhm.
And I made the decision to leave.
Okay.
So I still knew all of that. But it ain't nothing like going through.
Oh
Mhm.
So I'm
yeah,
like, man,
absolutely.
having to
What
make
was I
decisions like that.
thinking?
What was
Oh
I
yeah.
thinking?
To
But
be
I
free,
do it
to be
again.
free.
Yes, because you know how people can walk away from riches if that peace of mind is
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
And
pieces.
That is true.
exactly, but yeah, I guess slipped in and out of depression,
Mhm.
but I kept it moving in the personal sense,
Mhm.
but my business suffered.
Mhm.
Okay.
It suffered major
Okay.
because being a social media guru, people look forward to hearing from you through social media. And I was
Mhm.
like, man, screw social media right now. Y'all ain't got a clue about what I'm going through.
Right.
And
Right.
then
Yeah.
then nobody's checking for you either.
Okay.
Mhm.
So having
Wow.
to when you say you
Mhm.
alone, nobody's checking for you because everybody just says, "Oh, Danielle's got
She's
it.
fine.
She's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
always been fine. She's always bounced through." And the only thing that I've always said this, even when him and I were together, the only thing that could get to me is my family.
Okay. Mhm.
Everything else, I'm like, okay, we ain't talking. We ain't. You mad? You mad or not? Like I bounced back from everything, but my family was always so important to me. My
Mhm.
family and my faith. That's how I was brought up.
Mhm.
And like I'm the only one who's gotten a divorce in my family.
Wow.
Period. I mean, even people have gotten divorced in my family and have gotten remarried.
Mhm.
I've had a cousin who waited on her baby daddy from the pen forever. You know what I'm saying? And when he got out, she was right there. They got married. So I'm just saying, like, all of that plays with you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
But I was just like, screw it. You
Mhm.
know? But yeah, they made fun of me during my transition
Well,
time.
at
We
least
would
you
not.
had
That was
people
our
to
way
talk
of
to.
supporting and coping
That
with your
was.
pain.
I
Yeah.
didn't make
There
I did not
was.
make
There
fun of it. I
was.
know
That
I
was
because
their
I
way.
went through what she went through. I went through the divorce
Mhm.
and losing and deciding to walk away and having to go from being here to
Mhm.
falling here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I went through it, but I went through,
Yeah.
and completely losing a business and having to go
Wow.
back to work and go from making
Mhm.
10K a month to making $9.10 an hour. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? Struggling,
Everything was
bouncing
set for
around.
me. Yes,
Yeah,
I had it all
so
figured out. I had an office. I had everything, girl. I was doing good.
Mhm.
Everything's going up and up and up. And then it just all stopped.
Mhm.
yeah.
You know. So, but how do you? What would you say would be, some tips or things that we could utilize as far as business owners to be able to keep that momentum going? Because that momentum is everything in
Yes.
business, and unfortunately, you don't. It's hard branding yourself as is because I
Mhm.
teach branding and let alone rebranding yourself.
Mm.
That's so much more building from ground up because when you're building, you haven't failed or won. So nobody knows.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But when
Mhm.
you're rebranding, they're looking at you like, okay, now what you gonna do now? Because they've
Mhm.
already known you to
Mhm.
be a certain type of way.
Mhm.
So rebranding is so much more harder than
Mhm.
just deciding you want to brand a new business from today or tomorrow and you've never done it before,
Yeah.
because there's not expectations there. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody knows yet, but because they've already looked at me in a certain kind of way, what would you say is how you can keep the momentum going?
Well, you've got to find the people that are like you. Sometimes your family, your friends may be it, sometimes not. So sometimes you have to get in the presence of people who have gone through it, who are trying to do it and not to close in. You can't stuff all of that in. At least you have people to talk to. Some people
Mm-hmm.
don't. So
Right.
sometimes you may have to go outside of your comfort zone and
Mm-hmm.
find somebody to talk to, and then you find the resources.
Right.
Don't ever shut yourself off or put
Mm-hmm.
yourself in a box.
Right.
People try to put you there, but
Hmm.
you take yourself out.
You take yourself out,
Yeah.
So
which
sometimes
I
if
do
you're
all the
having to
time.
rebrand,
Uh-huh.
then you use what happened as
Mm-hmm.
a different platform. You
Right.
Yes,
build on that
exactly.
because there's
Yep.
always going to be somebody who's coming behind you that's going to find themselves in your
Mm-hmm.
spot and
Mm-hmm.
need you.
Right.
And that's exactly why the game changer came about.
Mhm.
It's because I realized, man, if they always say separate the business, and separate the person from the business,
Mhm.
but realistically you can't because it's the person running the business.
Mhm.
Right.
So if the
Mhm.
person has any type of holes or gaps in their lives
Mhm.
personally, it's going to show up in their business. And
Mhm.
the one thing I did not have in place that I preach about now is having systems, because people build systems, but systems build business. And if you
Okay.
don't have systems in place to run your business in the absence of yourself,
Wow.
then
Mhm.
you are doing your business a disservice.
Okay.
Right.
And I didn't have systems in place.
Okay.
I was manually doing everything,
Wow.
which was, I mean, it's wonderful when you can handle it. But
Mhm.
then when I needed my moment, I didn't
Mhm.
have things that set up in place that could still kind of automate my business so that I can still be doing
Mhm.
business. You know what I'm
Would
saying?
you say that's the difference between being a business owner and self-employed?
That is exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because an employee is when you work for someone else. Self-employed, you just work for yourself.
Mhm.
And a lot of people think we business owners,
Right.
but we self-employed. Because
Exactly.
Okay.
most self-employed people
We do
are your
everything.
stylists, your, people like me who do branding, media, publishers. We all are self-employed because
Mhm.
if we're not there physically doing the work,
It
then the
doesn't
monies
run.
isn't coming in.
Exactly.
So again, God has been on me about creating systems
Mhm.
because I am trying to go big. And in order
Okay.
for you to go big, you got to be able to have systems in place so that it can
Mhm.
always be duplicated. So you're right. Um, Trying to transition from self-employed to business, full-time, actually business ownership, which a lot of
Mhm.
people don't even really know what that is.
Yeah.
Right.
When you own a business, you own a system.
Yeah. That
Good
is
way to
true.
good way to
Mm.
look at that.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
But
are still
I
self-employed.
just want to
Right.
say real quick for those who are watching or tuned in, if you have, I see comments on Facebook. We'll get to those here shortly. But if you would like to be on the air live with us, you can give us a call at 972-591-8272, and we'll
Yes.
take your call
Come on.
live while we're talking here.
yeah.
Amen.
Let me ask you, Soneakqua, what would be your definition of work-life balance? the perfect? I'm not gonna say perfect because nothing is perfect.
Right.
But what would
Well,
ideally?
Yeah, I do.
I would say that your wellness trinity is what you have to have. Think of it in terms of a tripod, like the stand. Your mind, body, spirit,
Mhm.
mental, physical, spiritual. If one of those gets out of balance, you're headed for trouble.
Mhm.
And so that's what I would say to people. And if you had a fourth quadrant, if you had a whole table, it would be the work life balance. Because some people, like business owners or self employed, we work nonstop because there's always something for us to be doing. If we're not doing something,
What they
it's
say,
just because
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
right.
No.
If we're
No,
not doing
that's the stupidest
something,
saying.
it's just because we just chose not to do it at that moment. There's
Right.
always something to do. So
Mhm.
you have to also decide or choose what to do.
Sorry.
You have
Right.
to take your time. If you don't take it, you won't have it. Your work, your business isn't going to give it to you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take it. And that goes back to those coping mechanisms. I need to go to the gym because I need to get in the pool. And so I'm not going to write for this hour. I'm going to the gym.
Right.
You have to take it.
You gotta
Is that
take your
avoidance
time, yeah.
though when you do take that personal time? Because sometimes I feel like if I go to the movies or if it's that failure to have that balance. We
Okay.
know we need the break. We
Mhm.
know we're not going to get the break because we know that work is staring us in the face.
Mhm.
So is it avoidance when you say, okay, for me, I know I got to edit this book. My mind is not in the game
Mhm.
for whatever reason. I say,
Is it
let me go. Right,
procrastination or
procrastination,
avoidance?
avoidance.
No,
When
that's
when
Well,
you
a, no,
you
that's
gotta look at
yeah.
procrastination.
Yeah.
Well, you have to look
Well,
at patterns too.
but
If every time it's time to take care of business, you's like, I can't do this today.
well, yeah.
I gotta go catch a movie or I gotta go do something else. Then
Yeah.
I can see you
If
saying
you're
that.
consistently doing that,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
But if you're at a block and
Mhm.
you're looking at the screen like, OMG,
Then you're not
Ness, I can't
productive.
do it.
Yeah.
So just take a break.
Mhm.
Give yourself at least 15 or 20 minutes
But
and
is
come
she
back
telling
to it.
herself that she needs that break?
This is for anybody who can look
her
at that.
body
You
is
see,
telling her
that's one of the
I'm
biggest things
asking
as
for a friend.
creatives. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
asking for a
Is that
friend.
they can't get it done.
She making
Don't you
me-
get that a
Can they
lot
hear
from
me?
your
I wanna say
creatives
something.
that they hit a roadblock? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's a fear that's
Excuse
behind
me.
that
Yes.
of getting the project done. Then what? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
If I get it done, will they like it? If I get it
Yes.
done, will I get more work?
Yeah.
Drawing it out. There's a reason why people kind of come to a thing
Yeah.
and stop.
But there's a difference between you coming to a physical break where you're tired, you've been up all night looking at this screen or whatever, and you just can't do it anymore. There's a difference in that and
Then
just
procrastination.
Yes, there is a
Just wanted
difference.
to say.
Of course, we all know there's a difference between procrastination.
What
Then
she
not
trying to
getting
say?
it done.
I ain't got the
Montana
bell. I
definitely
ain't
has
got the
moments where she
bell.
like, I can't take this no more. I'm getting up out of here.
Okay.
Out of
We
here.
have those.
We
moments.
all have those
But
moments.
but listen, that for me, because I had to tell myself, okay, if I can't get it done in the time that I'm here, which if I'm here for 10 hours today, if I can't get it done today, it ain't gonna get
Get
done.
done. That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I do tell myself
Okay.
that. I do have my moments. I talked to a friend of mine yesterday. Shout out to Bees Professional. She said, "I told everybody in my office, don't come back to Monday. I'm in the bed." And I said, "Man, kudos to you. Like sometimes
Hey,
you just
right,
have
yeah.
You just have to take
do
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
and not feel bad about
Right.
it.
You have to take your
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And not
do.
feel guilty.
And not
Don't
feel
shame yourself.
guilty.
Don't guilt yourself.
A lot
Just
of people
take it.
shame themselves for taking that break. You know what I'm
And
saying? For
that's what I'm
going to the
talking about.
movies, for going out to grab something to eat.
Or going through
As-
your transition after your divorce.
Right. I'm just saying when you take that break, y'all get what I'm saying. Right. No,
Whatever.
taking the time is necessary because y'all laugh and joke, but it's very serious
Yeah,
that when
it
people take
is.
break, it's like business in the blue. When you take that break, how do you get started again? You know what I'm saying? Like when you take the time to feel sorry for
to get
yourself,
that
right?
moment.
To get yourself together, like you did, Danielle. Like you said, rebranding is difficult. Now you've been known for Danielle this. Now you got to be known for Danielle that. You know what I'm saying? Montana this. Montana took a leap of faith, and I tell everybody this story that she has no backing. Like there's nobody writing the checks for her, and she jumped her butt on a plane and went to L.A. and opened a station. Man, I
Wow.
brag on that to everybody that I can
Right.
talk
Thank
to.
you,
Because
Ivy.
I do. You don't know how big that is. That's why I jumped
Right.
on the plane and was like, I'm going to support her for my whole 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? For the whole 15. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
Yeah.
amazing to me that
Yeah.
this woman would have the fortitude to say, nobody writing me a $10,000 check. I ain't
Right.
asking for nobody money because she's stubborn as hell. And I'm going to jump on this plane and go. And she went out there with her husband, with her kids, found her building, went back out there, signed the lease, and was
Wow.
like, let me start sending stuff out
But
there.
I do want you to know it took me 2 years to get
But
there.
that don't matter. The fact that you still
No,
did
I say
it.
that. I want to say that
Mhm.
because there are some people
takes
that are
time.
watching
Yeah.
that will just say, "Oh, that's what I'm gonna do."
Right.
Yeah, well, don't be
Exactly.
Try
silly,
this
y'all.
at
Don't,
home.
Yeah.
don't,
We
don't
did.
try.
It
Yeah,
was
the
a
research.
process.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It was a process.
Yeah, and saving, okay? 'Cause
Yes.
It was a
when
goal
I
that,
right,
Put
you
your
obtained,
parachute on.
that you
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't just jump.
right.
But for someone, like us, who, if we're not already, giving ourselves that time for that work-life balance, how do you like start getting into that mode where you're able to do
And
that?
don't feel selfish,
You
and
have
not
to
feel
plan
selfish.
it.
There you go.
So if you have your schedule for the day, if you're doing da da da, so now write yourself into your schedule.
That's what I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say.
like that.
You have to write that me time in. You schedule for everything else. Why would you not schedule for yourself?
A lot of people don't think of
Yeah, I
it.
don't. I have.
I've never thought of writing
But that's
myself
how
in a
you
schedule.
start. You said if you're
Girl,
not
I
used to
schedule my
doing it,
nap
that's how you
time.
start.
I schedule
Yeah, no, I hate naps. Right, I hate
Hey,
naps. I
for
hate naps.
some reason, around every day around 2 o'clock,
Uh-huh.
between 2 and 4, it's like I could barely keep my head up.
Okay.
Like,
You hitting the wall.
No,
I'm hitting the
I
wall,
can't.
yeah.
But you say schedule yourself. I never
I
thought
try
of
to
that.
do
Like,
that
what
as
are some
much
of the
as
things you
possible.
schedule yourself? For both of you, what would be some of the things outside of the things that help you kind of reformulate, re-strategize? Reset your mind. What are some of the other things that people schedule themselves?
So if it's a day that I'm not scheduled to go to the gym, then I have a 2 or 3 hour break in the middle of the day, and I leave the office. Because if I don't leave, the phone is ringing, people are coming in, whatever. So I actually get in my car and leave the office and take myself to lunch or run an errand or just go sit at the park. Literally, I do that sometimes. So I schedule gym time. If gym time is not there, then I'll have a break somewhere in the day where I can get away because I have to reset. I'm listening to people's issues all day
All
long.
day.
Oh,
So I
right.
have
This
to
is what I'm
reset.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah, you have
I
to
consult.
reset.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can go to the movies and schedule 3 hours away from the desk, but I can't take adult naps. Whatever.
Take your nap.
I am
Take
vitamin D deficient.
Okay.
So no,
Take our
serious.
pills for that.
Me too. Yeah.
I do take
but-
pills for that.
You do, and you still vitamin D deficient?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole other topic, girl.